race fans, Intensity Broadcasting here tonight live in Las Vegas for the second race in the SCSRA Cup Series presented by Dev Sporting Cards. And after last week's race, we are rolling into Vegas with a fresh season. There's still a lot of storylines to unfold here. It's only the second race of the season, so storylines will start to develop as we continue throughout the season here. 2 races in. Tonight's just going to be, I feel like, more of building on that storyline, figuring out what direction these teams are heading, the drivers, and what we can look forward to in a solid campaign 2025 season 11. Currently we are in practice. We've got 7 minutes left in the practice session. Fastest so far is Jesse Whittington, our defending champion. Driving for Cypress Capital, one of 5-car team here in the SCSRA Cup Series. Right now you've got Cameron spotlighting Redinger in the 99 car. Last week at Daytona, our season opener winner of the race was Zachary Stevens, who survived the carnage and chaos as the seas parted in front of him. Last lap, round last corner at Daytona, everything just kind of went haywire. Cars wrecking left and right. He had a very small window of opportunity, and he found it to find his way into victory lane last week at Daytona. And so here tonight, looks like see Zachary Stevens in the lobby yet. Out real quick, folks. Hold on. It looks like it has me logged in as a racer, and I need to be in as a spectator. So hopefully this will be a quick and easy fix. seem like it'll let me back out to be a spectator, so probably because I accidentally logged in as the racer, so we'll apologies, folks. I apologize to the SCSRA, as it's going to have my name in the points, but I am not starting the race here tonight, so that is my bad. I've learned for next time. Alrighty, 30 seconds left here in the practice session. We'll be rolling right on into qualifying here tonight. It looks like about 10 cars can make the field here tonight. No one's going home, so it means 18 cars racing in the main event. Rolling into tonight, your points leader is Chase Greer, who got some stage points to earn bonus points past the race winner last week. And he's going to be rolling in tonight, defending the top spot of the point standings.
You know, what's interesting is the knowledge from racing translates really well into riding truck. When you're going downhill, super high speed, I mean, it's always a tough spot. It's what's the line, where do I slow, what do I want to use, where am I looking with my eye.
All right, let's do some hot potato between the drivers here today. We got Josh King right now, turn the lap. It looks like his first time lap is right there. That would do it. My headset was not in the out position, so now I should be a little bit louder and clearer. I apologize, folks. Thank you for giving me that heads up there, Matt. So far, top of the board, Matt Parasini, along with Sharn Hill, Nathan Brzezowski, Jay Stinson, and Justin Parham, your top 5. Joshua King has settled into 8th at the moment. His second lap, is it going to be any quicker? It is not. And so now the lap times are rolling in here pretty quickly. You got Jesse Whittington here in the number 94. And we have him as our side-by-side shot again here tonight. We'll keep rolling with it from week in, week out if we've got any other drivers interested in having their rig caught during the broadcast. And there you go. Whittington topped the board so far as he finishes his lap right there. Moving a little bit further in the qualifying session now, you got Ryan Gomes. Looks like he's got an 11th place in the books. Here we go, someone on a fresh lap right now, Matthew Fritz. Heartbreak for Matthew Fritz last week at Daytona. He honestly had a great shot at winning it, and then the chaos unfolded, and it took him out of the running. Fortunately for him, his teammate was able to claim victory. He had a great run going and should have been in the mix with his teammate for Venom Racing. But nonetheless, they roll into Vegas tonight on a high, I feel like, because they knew they had a shot to win Daytona. And momentum is always a good thing. Rolling into a race after having a great one taken away from you last week often feeds the fire. Looks like this will be his second timed lap. 2 complete laps here tonight to set the field. Your best time of those 2 gets you the position, and it looks like Fritz's second lap was just as good as his first lap, keeping him in 11th there. And we got Warren Kyle Keith. It looks like he's on his slowdown lap, so just about everyone now has turned their laps here in qualifying. And now it is just the tick, tick, tick until we get through the qualifying session here. I actually just made it back from Vegas this weekend. This past weekend I was there for the NASCAR Cup race. And man, was that a blast. That's the second time I've been to the Vegas race. And so it makes it even more neat when you've got experience with the track firsthand, when you're looking at it in the video game now like this. And so here we go with our starting lineup here tonight. Starting on the front row, it is Jesse Whittington alongside John McNeil. Then you've got Charles Stevens Charles Stevens Jr. alongside Zach Lockett. Matt Bands, who had a great qualifying run at Daytona, matches it up here with a top 5 starting position here tonight alongside Josh Freed. Then you've got Vince Brent and Matt Parasini, Sharn Hill and Jay Stinson, Matthew Fritz and Kenneth Redinger. Then you got Ryan Gomez. Apologies. Catch myself, and I'm catching myself on it. Ryan Gomes, Nathan Brzezowski. Man, I'm going to get these down. I promise. I am butchering them right now for whatever reason. 15th place starting position is Warren Keith, followed by Justin Parham, Joshua King, and Jorge Ledesma Jr., with Josh Hall, Lauren Vincent, and the back of the field, Garrett Walden, Joe Irwin, Billy Titoff, and ignore the 64 there, as he's sitting here in the booth calling the race. I'll make sure not to join as racer next time. That was my mistake. But here we are. Las Vegas, 150 laps is the distance here tonight. Jesse Whittington rolling in after having a great run last week at Daytona. Didn't really have the results to show for it. And getting into the real racing here. I mean, you look at the super speedway races are kind of a roll of the dice. So tonight you'll really get to see the driver's skill sets on full display. Las Vegas, it could be a pretty treacherous track, or it could be a walk in the park. And we'll see tonight which Vegas we get here. And it's I just gotta, you know, keep the name out there, keep him on our minds. It's such a shame what we lost here at Las Vegas back in 2011 when Dan Weldon got in that wreck and passed away. And you know, Vegas, that the honorary, I guess, anniversary date would be tomorrow on the 16th when we lost him here at Vegas. And I always keep him close to my mind, along with many other drivers that have died doing what they love. We'll definitely have a great race on tap here, and I would love to say that this one is for Dan Weldon. So get your belts tightened, your visors wiped down, and ready to race here, folks. It's green, green, green. Off to the lead. So far it is Jesse Whittington getting around John McNeil there on the low side. 94 cuts in a kind of single file there for the front four. But John McNeil not wasting any time there, trying to jump back to the lead. 150 laps here tonight and a stage break at lap 40. Stage points on the line for these drivers, so to win that stage would be a 10-point bonus in the championship battle. They're already looking racy as we've had the lead swap hands twice now just in the first 2 laps. Jesse Whittington led lap 1. John McNeil's going to lead lap 2. Holding on steadily there in third, it is Charles Stevens Jr., Zach Lockett in fourth, and Matt Baines in fifth. Matt Baines had one of the hard breaks last week at Daytona, having pole position to start the race. And it sounds like maybe had some internet issues during the race that forced him to retire early. So hopefully the cobwebs have been dusted off the good old modem router so that his internet does not give him any fits here tonight. And of course, the last couple weeks have been trying for me with my internet, and I apologize. And knock on wood that hopefully it's resolved itself. So I'm testing the waters. You know, the commentators jinx. You often, you don't want to talk about it, but then when you do, you're just like, you're really pushing the envelope of making it happen. And yeah, I'm gambling, riding on the edge. Last race I streamed went perfectly, so I'm gonna hold out that this one will do just the same. Already through 6 laps here, pretty uniform. They're all settled in single file at the moment. Top 5 has remained relatively unchanged here, except for Matt Baines gaining a spot up to 4th, Lockett dropping back to 5th. Parasini on the move as he's up 2 spots here in the early running. Nathan Brzezowski up 6 spots from his starting position. So he's almost already cut off half of the positions in front of him, making it into the top 10. However, no one has gained more spots here tonight than Joe Irwin, already on the move up 8 spots in the early running here. Things seem uniform at the front, but a little bit chaotic in the background there as you see him doubled up in a couple spots. Looks kind of like a hornet's nest with some of the drivers trying to tiptoe around. I definitely dig number 5 Ghost machine there. Reminiscent to the Kyle Larson scheme that I saw there just this past Sunday. The gold and black. Very catchy, very cool. We ended up with a diecast of that Zach Brown band. Kyle Larson diecast, and it's one of my new favorites because I was able to get the diecast of a car that was racing the day that I was there at the track. That doesn't happen very often when you get the diecast pumped out that quickly for an event. Well, let us go ahead and dial up a side-by-side comparison here with your defending champion, Jesse Whittington. Wow, making a move on the outside there. You got the 72 of Matt Bands trying to pass Jesse on the outside. Whoa, and that got pretty tight there. Well, Jesse Whittington had survived that advance from the number 72. Well, hot dang. The number 03 of Joe Irwin up 15 spots here since the start. Didn't turn a lap in qualifying. Gave the whole field basically position on field. And he's showing that it didn't matter where he starts, he's going to find his way fired up to the front here. Settles into 7th. That is a grand total of 15 spots to the good. Oh, and he just kissed the wall there. Well, Kenneth Redinger starting to move up as well into the top 5. He's using that high line. The Kyle Larson groove starting to break in here a little bit. High, wide, and handsome. Sometimes if you make it work, you can gain a lot of time, but the risk versus reward payout is often, it doesn't always equal success. As you get up there, you're going to put yourself at risk of hitting the wall like we saw the 03 there did of Joe Irwin. And so, yeah, running that high line might be able to gain a surge here and there, but as soon as you hit the wall, your car might not be the same. Wow, the 03, Joe Irwin now cracks into the top 5 for the first time here today. I almost wonder if he's overusing his stuff here to gain 17 spots up into the top 5, starting at the back of the field. Oh, and the 99 gets loose. Side draft maybe that went bad there. The 72 and the 99, they were just racing alongside each other, and that thing darted out of control on him. We stay green. Unfortunately, Kenneth Redinger drops about 7 spots there. And the big gainer on all of that is none other than Joe Irwin, who made up another couple spots with that transaction. So we're about halfway through stage 1 here. 18 out of the 40 laps for the first stage of the race. Jesse Whittington still holding in second place there, but it looks like he's trying to make a move on the lead right now as we speak. Side by side down the backstretch, the 94 has the advantage on the 48. 48 staying up high here. He's going to come back down and meet him side by side down the front stretch now. He's going to edge out the lead there for that lap, keeping the 94 in second place. The 94's got the drive and he's got the momentum. He wants to carry it to the lead here. Great racing as those two keep swapping it. That's only going to bring the rest of the drivers closer to the front here. Joe Irwin probably grinning from cheek to cheek, seeing those two race side by side, as that's going to allow that black number 03 to really close up the gap here. 94 stays high. He's kind of changing up his line here. 03 drops way low. Not out of bounds on the apron. Whoa, and the 03 got loose in the background there. Got run into by, I believe, the 84 of Stevens. That was definitely a hold on for dear life moment, because that could have got hairy. Yet he recovers. It looks like he's going to drop back to 5th at the moment. Might have used his stuff up. I was kind of wondering about that. The harder the harder you push, the more you're going to end up eating those tires for lunch. 94 making a good advance here. He's going to be right on the back bumper down the backstretch. Sticks up high, uses the Kyle Larson line. 48 kind of splits the difference there, keeping the lead. The 94 sticking it right on his right rear bumper. Spectacular side-by-side racing here from Vegas. 94 wants it badly here. He might be waiting to kind of time it out. He doesn't want to jump at the lead and, be in the catbird seat for when the stage comes to an end here in 15 laps perhaps. There you have it, new leader here on lap 25. Jesse Whittington led one lap earlier and now he's back to the front trying to lead some more. Well, since the excitement kind of mellowed out here at the front, let's do a through the field. Good old-fashioned intensity broadcasting through the field. Running second right now, you have John McNeil from Thatcher, Arizona. This could be considered close to a home track for him, other than Phoenix. But yeah, here today at Las Vegas, running a good run so far. And then you got third place, Zach Lockett. Fourth place, Charles Stevens Jr. from Tampa, Florida. Joe Irwin from Hurricane, West Virginia. Matt Parasini from Alberta. Our lone Canadian in the field here tonight, running in 6th. Josh Freed from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, running in 7th early on here tonight. Vince Brent from Kingsport, Tennessee, running in 8th, driving the number 92 Bad Boy Buggy Chevrolet. Warren Kyle Keith with the number 9 Ford. Bass Pro Shops, kind of like Chase Briscoe-esque looking scheme there. Matt Bands, we've seen him up front earlier today, and he's dropped back into 10th at the moment. Sharn Hill from Richmond, Virginia, running in 11th. Nathan Brzezowski trying to make it 3 wide there with the competition. That only opened the door for Matthew Fritz to get up a spot into 12th. So then we've got Garrett Walden in 14th. Go ahead and let the there we go, reset. We got Billy Titoff in 15th. Jorge Ledesma Jr. running in 16th. Lauren Vincent in 17th. Joshua King from Denver, Colorado, running 18th. Kenneth Redinger, after that scare, it seems that he's dropped backwards here into 19th, running just in front of Josh Hall from Chicopee, Massachusetts. Ryan Gomes from Arcata, California. Jay Stinson in 22nd. And Justin Parham, it seems, is off the racetrack. And so that was through the field. Now we've got 8 laps left to go here in the stage. Jesse Whittington making it look easy right now. The car getting a little bit loose. Kind of saved that one there. We'll go ahead and bring up the side-by-side view. This might be interesting watching him race it to the finish of this stage from his sim rig. He definitely had his hands full when he got loose that last lap. I saw in the share screen that it did not look pretty, and he kind of showed it too. So all he's got to do is bring it home here. 5 laps to go in the stage, and then he can pit for some fresh tires. 93 of Zach Lockett kind of came out of nowhere here at the end of the stage. John McNeil starting to drop backwards. He must have used up his tires. Just like with Jesse at the front there getting loose, I'm thinking some of the tires are just going away from these drivers. And so Zach Lockett, he could be flirting with a stage win here if he can nail it down. Alrighty. Things have kind of stabilized here at the end of this stage. Whittington looking good. He's still going to have 110 laps at the end of this stage to bring it home. But putting on a good start to the night. Winning the stage will kind of give you a little bit of a mulligan in case something happens out of your control. Those 10 bonus points can erase a bad day in some occasions. And, you know, it's kind of about, you're basically getting quarter of a win with 10 points from a stage, if you think about it that way. The win is worth 40 points, so yeah, stage points are huge in today's current environment of NASCAR racing, to where those 10 points could make or break a championship push. Final lap here in the first stage. Whittington cruising now. You can see the intense focus from the driver at the cockpit there. And as soon as he passes that start-finish line, you might even see a glimpse of relief, knowing that he's got a break here in the racing action. There we go, as they round it. Be caution here shortly for the stage end. Let everyone finish the lap, and then the caution will wave, bringing stage 1 to an end. Stage 1 winner, Jesse Whittington. Second place was Zach Lockett. Charles Stevens Jr. coming in third. John McNeil fourth. And it may have been Josh Freed in fifth. It might have been Joe Irwin in fifth, but it would have been one of those two with the fifth place here in the stage. And now we will start to see the strategies unfold here tonight. Pit stops. Everyone should probably come down pit road for a full service here, I believe. We'll see. There might be a couple drivers that decide to take 2 tires, which would be foolish, I feel. You never know. These next-gen cars definitely kind of throw me a bit of a curveball sometimes when people can figure out that 2 tires is actually better than 4. Because the way the car's tire wear model does not exactly wear out like evenly, or I'm not talking like I know it, but at least from my experience being in sim leagues and sim racing, and even watching real life NASCAR, sometimes the two tire stop with this next gen car works just as good as a 4 tire stop. It's weird. And we are heading down pit lane here. So coming in with the lead, it was Whittington. Coming out with the lead, it's going to be Whittington. Second, Zach Lockett. Third, Charles Stevens Jr. Fourth, John McNeil and Matt Parasini, rounding out your top 5 from pit exit. Warren, Kyle Keith, Josh Freed, Matt Bands, Sharn Hill, and Joshua King, your top 10. Jorge Ledesma Jr., Garrett Walden, Billy Titoff, Vince Brent, and Kenneth Redinger sets the top 15. Josh Hall gains a couple spots, up 3 from his starting position here into 16th. Nathan Brzezowski. Joe Irwin Wow, from 5th all the way back to 18th. Gotta wonder if maybe he had some damage on the car and had to stay on pit road a little bit longer. Regardless, he's shown that he has the speed here today, and he might be able to charge back through the field regardless. But he's gonna have to do it again. Resets. Basically, the reset button has been hit, and he's starting back in 18th on this next restart. Ryan Gomes, Lauren Vincent, Matthew Fritz, Jay Stinson, and Justin Parham round out the lineup here. Back to 23rd. 23 cars in the race. It looks like all 23 are still running. However, Justin Parham is spending some time on pit road, so maybe only 22 cars left running at the moment. Well, it looks like Whittington takes the outside line. Leader gets choice. And that's going to force Lockett to have what would often be considered the advantageous inside line for the restart. The lights are off on the pace car. We're going to get back and rolling here on lap 45. Gotta love the quick stage breaks. There's not a whole lot of laps being bled away here. We're gonna get right back into the racing action here with little delay.
Green flag, green flag.
Great start. I don't know if it was a bad start out of the 93 or just one heck of a start out of the 94. But the leader kind of has control there, so the leader had the control, kept the lead. 93 was just a little bit late to the jump there, and he loses a spot back to 3rd. John McNeil back up to 2nd. This is back to where we had it before the stage. Yeah, and look at that, side by side, almost a repeat duplicate of the race start here today, where Whittington had the lead. John McNeil wanted it. Seems like McNeil may just have the quicker, the short run setup for that number 48. Gets right back to the lead on the restart here. Morton Kyle Keith up into the top 5 now. That number 9 Bass Pro Shops Ford looking stout here. The Evernham stylized number 9. And we've got our first caution. Well, technically second caution with the stage break earlier. First caution for an accident. So let's jump to the replay studio and figure out what happened here. So you got the 79 of Billy Titoff. And that is the 44 of Jorge Ledesma Jr. He just clipped him there. Ooh, the 44, he's sideways. We're going to have to jump to a camera on him. See exactly how that transpired. Getting some air there on the 79 of Billy Titoff. Took a little bit of a ride through the grass, perhaps a little foul on the damage here for the 79. But there might be some more significant damage on the 44. Yeah, it looks like the 79 just drove it up a little too stout there. Maybe a little tight on the setup there, and it drove up into the 44. 44 gets loose, clips the wall. Pretty hard lick there on the 44. It looks like that's going to require some repairs to be made to the 44. And everyone else made it through cleanly there without making contact on the 79. Definitely could have been way worse on a few few drivers there. Alrighty, so we're getting some altering strategies here. This is what I was talking about earlier. You got Jesse Whittington, who was the leader of the race. He decided to pit now during this caution flag to get some gas to top it off. Everyone's obviously going to have to find a way to make the gas go the distance here today, and 1 or 2 stops would not be unrealistic. But he's going to take the kind of the undercut strategy here and pit during this caution, relinquishing the lead to John McNeil. So we'll see how that unfolds for Jesse. Often I would definitely not want to get back there with the squirrels. Sometimes you'll get your nuts stolen. The lights are going to go off on the pace car here, doubled up for the restart. 100 laps left to go here from Las Vegas. Looks like Ryan Gomes is spending some extended time on pit road. I don't know if we might have missed an accident that involved him, but he's currently relegated back to 22nd, halfway off the lead pace there. So looks like he's back off pit road. He's going to have a narrow window here to get caught back up, maybe doing that alternate strategy just like we saw Jesse Whittington. And he did the extra on that strategy to wait even a lap longer than Whittington did. Pace car rolls off the race line. Back in racing, the 48 gets to lead them to the start. John McNeil from Arizona rolling in with the lead here on lap 51. Warren Kyle Keith looking up to second now. Number 9's moving up through the field. The names and cars might change at the front, but the racing action is still top notch here today from Las Vegas so far. Number 9's made some moves. He's gained 13 spots. Joe Irwin back up again, 12 spots into the top 10. So no one's going to keep Joe Irwin down, it seems. He's got the speed, he's got the pace. Is he going to have the luck to avoid any chaos, any carnage that may happen in the midfield? Same goes for Jesse Whittington, who took the strategy call there to drop it back to the rear. He's going to be racing back with some aggressive drivers fighting for position. And so he's got his work cut out for him here tonight. If we get more cautions, it could help him make that alternate strategy look a little bit squeakier clean. But without any cautions, it's gonna come down to, you know, he gained about 5 laps on fuel there over the rest of the field. Which, if the final run of this race is 5 laps on a fuel tank and everyone else has to pit, he would be sitting golden. So you never know. You just never know how things are going to pan out. I saw him getting kind of racy in the background there. I'm wondering if that had anything to do with the caution we're under here. looks like a multiple driver wreck, perhaps. Maybe 2 unconnected wrecks. Let's see the first one here. You got the 99 of Kenneth Redinger. He's catching up to the 17 there of Joshua King. Oh no, it's the 03. Joe Irwin lost it, and unfortunately, track kind of cleans itself out there. When he came back down the racing line, it collected the 99 and the 81 of Josh Hall as well. Kenneth Redinger and Joe Irwin, man, that car just darted out of control on him. So let us see exactly how he loses it there. That looked ugly. He's on kind of the preferred line there. Oh, and it just washes out from him, overcorrects, and head-on collision in the outside wall. That car is more than likely done for the day. 99 might be able to get some repairs done, as well as the 81 of Joshua Hall there. But the 03 still sliding. Whoa, the 94. Man, Jesse Whittington saw that one happen right in front of him. Yeah, he had Billy Titoff. He was spinning there at the end of the wreck. The 07 kind of late to the party. It looks like he's able to drive around everything. But that's what I was talking about. You don't want to get too far back in the running order and put yourself at risk of getting tangled up in the chaos in the back. Joe Irwin's day came to a screeching halt here after what looked to be a promising night here from Vegas. He was climbing the ladder, trying to get back to the front yet again. And unfortunately, that car was just a little bit too fast, perhaps, and on the edge of out of control. Well, that's a first. I was trying to figure out what the heck happened there. Jay Stinson drove, maybe lost connection to his steering wheel or something. I saw it out of the back of my eye, and I'm like, what the heck's going on? And the 03 is actually going to be able to continue on, so they must have at least one fast repair, would be my guess, because that 03 looked to be toast. So I might be learning here tonight that these drivers do get at least one fast repair on the night. We're back to live now, getting ready for the restart. It's John McNeil and Zach Lockett leading them to the green.
Green flag, green flag.
Whoa, slow start. Kind of held everyone up. Slow rolling, they keep it going. Now we got a new name in the top 3. Well, top 4, I guess. Still fighting for that third position. You got Josh Freed up into the top 5. Nathan Brzezowski right there in the number 77. You got Ryan Gomes moving up too. He's into the top 10, running in 7th at the moment. heard some sheet metal crunch noises. Oh, and there was a hard hit out of the background there. That was Josh King. Looks like he's gonna keep it rolling, but man, that was a hard lick out of the. Oh, he hit it again. And once he hit the wall once, it's kind of a revolving door at that point. You're only gonna keep having troubles. The car ain't gonna set right. He might even have some existing damage now that'll take the control of that car away from him. We got Jesse Whittington holding in solidly at 11th place right now. He's still trying to pick them off one by one. Putting in the work right now. They gain the spots back that he lost on pit stop. He's got Neon Racing's Ryan Gomes right in front of him there. So it looks like currently a lap down in the race here tonight. Josh Hall, Joe Irwin, and Justin Parham, who still seems to be not out there on the field. Got a two-car breakaway at the front of the field as John McNeil and Zach Lockett are starting to stretch it out here.
Caution, yellow flag.
And we're back under caution here at lap 65. Let's hop into a replay here. Oh shoot, that was in the midst of the wreck there. So it's the 9 of Warren Kyle Keith and the 77 of Nathan Brzezowski. Loses it right there in front of the 9. Bam! Whoa, they got airborne. Both of them flipping through the air. The 24 also getting in the mix. Matt Parasini. Tough break for those 3 drivers involved there. Yet again, you've got Jesse Whittington kind of driving through the carnage and chaos. Riding in the back. Ooh, the 5 gets through the grass as well. So there's a lot of extracurricular a lot of extra drivers involved in this in one way or another. Yeah, unfortunately, the 31 took a nice hard hit there on the spinning. Number 9 car. Wow. Okay. And things are going to get shaken up a little bit here once again, as more drivers taking their pit stops here during this caution. A couple others decide to stay out. So Matt Baines jumps to the top, Joshua King, Vince Brent, Jesse Whittington back into the top 5. He's got at least a little bit more fuel than those that just pitted, but now the ones that pitted are going to have the most fuel on track. So now Jesse Whittington's going to be playing the catch-up game when it comes to fuel numbers. Sharn Hill in 5th. Charles Stevens Jr., Garrett Walden, Lauren Vincent. John McNeil from the lead back to 9th. So 8 cars stayed out. Half the field pitted, half the field stayed out. And now we're going to get to see what some new drivers have for the front of the field here. Let's ride along with Jesse Whittington on the restart here. First lap, back to the green on lap 69. Get back into the gears, rolling, here we go. 72 had a great start. Jesse, not too bad himself, keeping it right on the back bumper of Joshua King. Gonna make it 3 wide going high. Josh King is in the middle of the sandwich there. Oh, and they're going to get wiped into the wall. Oh, and it's getting furious here at the front. 5 of Sharn Hill jumps up to 3rd. Jesse Whittington gets bumped and banged around a little bit, but he's holding on to a top 5 at the moment. Now settles into 4th, right there behind Sharn Hill. Well, if that wasn't an exciting restart, then I don't know what is. Because that one had a little bit of it all. He had some comers, goers, some contact, but everyone stayed clean and we stayed green as the racing action continues to get heated up here. Past, closing in on halfway, not quite past halfway yet. Baines has the lead, Brent in 2nd, Hill in 3rd, Whittington 4th, and McNeil back up into the top 5. We already know John McNeil's got the fresh tires, fresh gas. He might make this look easy. He might get around Jesse Whittington and all the others right there in front of him. Run the high side on the 94, closing the momentum on 3rd place Vince Brent, and even 2nd place Sharn Hill. Staying on the high side. The fresher tires are moving to the front. Pardon the minor hiccups there, folks. Hopefully keeps going here. I can handle the minor hiccups. Those are nothing. As long as we keep the race rolling from green flag to checkers, that's really all I want to see here tonight. Boy golly, we're going to be right at halfway this time by. 75 laps in, 75 laps to go. Matt Baines, your leader, over Sharon Hill, John McNeil, Zach Lockett, and Vince Brent. Second half of the race now commences. Who's going to have the strategy calls to make the win happen here tonight? It's one of the things you got to love the most about endurance races such as this, that strategy starts to factor in, and it really changes the whole complex of the race. They're running a 225-mile race here tonight with 150 laps, so 225 miles. It's no short sprint, and it's definitely no Coke 600 by any means, but it's gonna test these drivers' skills and strategy calls all the way to the finish. Side by side for the lead, John McNeil making the moves and getting to the front again. Those fresh tires working and paying off in dividends. Zach Lockett is also on fresher tires here, so those two are looking to try and storm the front of the field. Ooh, the 93 clipped the wall there. Zach Lockett got a little too high, kissed the wall. Kind of like a, almost like a Darlington stripe here at Vegas, but keeps soldiering on in fourth there. Another charge from the 48. Seeing the altering lines is always kind of fun to watch when you see drivers that are attempting to make some moves and the other trying to defend that line and keep their position. It's often hard to tell which line's going to pay off to get the positions. Right now it looks like the 48 has the momentum, but that outside line is very it's tricky. It's kind of deceiving. It'll make you think that he's lost all ground, and then all of a sudden charges back on the high side and blows around for the position. But now they're able to slide jaw right in front of the 5 and keep the position for themselves. Next on the target board is the 72 of Matt Baines. John McNeil just meticulously picking them off one by one here, trying to kind of buy his time. He goes way high here, and 72 goes way low. Whoa, 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 72 gets way loose. 3 wide at the lead. That's going to give the 48 a brief lead there. Here comes the 31 of Jay Stinson from out of nowhere. We saw what we thought, that he lost the steering wheel setup, where his car just veered sharp left into pit road. And all of a sudden now he's fighting for the front of the field. And I think the 72's tires kind of gave up on him there. Matt Baines obviously on the older tires. Got loose. Forced it 3 wide with the 2 leaders on fresher tires behind him. Wow, what a wild turn of events there. Swapping around what we thought was going to be John McNeil taking the lead. That actually opened the door for Zach Lockett to pounce. Zach Lockett jumps to the front of the field now, defending the position from John McNeil. If we were to give away awards here tonight, I think you'd have to give Jay Stinson the "Where in the World Did He Come From" badge. I mean, that last restart, he would have been starting deep in the field after what looked like losing, Xbox connection, lost controller, disconnect, steering wheel disappeared, vanished, and he drove down into the pit road wall. Apparently not enough damage from the incident, but even then he's had to climb all the way from about 10th place, I think, to get up into the top 3 here, so mad kudos to 31 on a charge. Side by side for second, Stinson making the move, getting up alongside the 48 of John McNeil. John McNeil and the McNeil Media Chevrolet there. Been looking stout, but now under attack by some competition, the 31. Woo-wee! That was a bold move from Jay Stinson. I don't think the spot was there, but he took it anyways. Kind of forced John McNeil to let up off the throttle a little bit or face the consequences. There we go, Stinson under attack now. McNeil back on the mend, trying to get around. What this is doing is allowing Zach Lockett to just drive away at the front of the field here. The more these two race side by side, 93 can just cruise away with it. Battle's getting too good to walk away from it. We're going to keep our cameras focused on these two, the battle. It keeps brewing here for second place. Do a little bit of bookkeeping here on lap 88. We've got 18 cars still on the lead lap. Josh Hall, the last car on the lead lap at the moment, running in 18th. Warren Kyle Keith is a lap down. The last cause for caution. Looks like he's still out there running, but currently 19th, 1 lap down. Nathan Brzezowski also involved in that wreck. He's running 20th laps down. Kenneth Redinger in 21st. Another tough break for a stout contender. Seems to always show up and look strong, but bad luck unfortunately struck him here, and he's laps down here along with Joe Irwin. So we're under caution again here. And let's jump to the butt kicker replay of the race. We got Lauren Vincent here. Yeah, it's a tough spot on the track, almost similar to one of the wrecks we saw earlier. Getting through turn 4, just loses it. Lauren Vincent loses it, spins across the racetrack. And we've got what looks to be maybe an unrelated incident somewhere else around the track. Later, rolling into the caution. This is after the caution waves. You see the lights on the yellow. Whoa, Fritz, no, gets into the 24 there of Matt Parasini. Maybe just miscalculated the braking distance there when closing up on the 24. That's unfortunate for all of those that were involved there. I think just kind of taken by surprise by the quick radius that everyone was slowing down. 72 was also involved. 24 really got the worst of it. Matt Parasini clipped the outside wall pretty good there. And alrighty, it looks like we're gonna have pretty much the entire field pit now, which could get them back on equal playing ground for the 60 lap charge to the finish. It's gonna be tight. I do feel like the window at Vegas is about 60 laps at the maximum. So this, with maybe some cautions, it could get him to the finish running on fumes here, but we'll see. But this was kind of a well-timed caution to get everyone back on strategy, get the fresh tires and gas to get them all the way to the finish, perhaps. So forget about alternating strategies now. It looks like everyone's going to be back on the same square rolling into the restart at lap 93. Top four remain unchanged from pit stop. Zach Lockett keeps that lead over Jay Stinson, John McNeil, Jesse Whittington, and then you got Josh Freed, Sharn Hill, Billy Titoff, Garrett Walden, Matt Bayens, Vince Brent, Joshua King, Ryan Gomes, Jorge Ledesma Jr., Charles Stevens Jr., Matthew Fritz, Lauren Vincent, Josh Hall, Matt Parasini. Last car on the lead lap. I do believe he probably spent some extra time on pit road getting some damage repaired on that machine. And we'll be getting set up for the restart with 58 laps to go here from Vegas. For the drivers at the front of the field, they might be sitting pretty here. We'll see. You never know with the roll of the dice what could happen throughout the rest of the 58 laps left to go. If we get some more cautions, the fuel numbers might start looking a little bit more doable. It's going to be tight. We're going to go here with 58 to go. What a wonderful start from Zach Lockett. Unfortunately, Jay Stinson did not get rolling on that restart. Josh Freed jumps up from 5th to 3rd in the span of one turn. Ooh, and they're getting into the wall. Stinson gets into the wall. 79 spinning out in front of him.
Caution, yellow flag.
Billy Titoff and Jay Stinson unfortunately looked like maybe 3 or 4 wide there to cause this current caution that we're under. Yeah, they were 3 wide. Almost wonder if the 94 there, Jesse Whittington, might have got some air off the right rear fender on, or maybe the left rear fender on the 31. Man, it's too yeah, you can see the contact. Stinson got loose and ran into Jesse Whittington there. But unfortunately, the 79 was just extra involved in that. Not necessarily anything he did wrong. It was just wrong place, wrong time for Billy Titoff. Jay Stinson, it looks like, might minimize the damage there. Not too much damage on the 31. And maybe not too much damage on the 79 as well. But here we go. These are going to be the cautions that your leaders are desperately hoping for that can help stretch that fuel mileage all the way to the finish. Looks like they gave the wave around there. Missed which driver that was. Alrighty, getting doubled up for another restart here tonight. Let's see if we can get some green flag laps running again here. I think we'll go ahead and dial up Jesse Whittington again for the side-by-side restart. That was kind of fun watching the in-car cam and him racing on the restart. So we'll go ahead and do the side-by-side comparison yet again. This time we'll go ahead and do the chase cam. For those of you that are watching that are racing in this too, if you're catching it the next day, feel free. I'm going to try to utilize the Video Ninja as much as possible. I figured out how to make it work, and so if you want to be part of the broadcast like this, by all means, the link is there. If you have a personal webcam that shows your setup and everything, we'll figure out a way to get you worked into the broadcast. Looking a little bit hairy there in second place is Josh Freed, John McNeil. Got a little bit out of whack there. Flipped the wall even. Jesse Whittington kind of babying the throttle through the middle of the turn. Found it interesting when I was at the racetrack. The only time they ever let off the throttle really is going through the turns. They're pretty much gunning it all the way around Vegas here. Even the front stretch, you're pretty much wide open on the tri-oval segment of the track. So there's only 2 braking points. And it makes a big difference at, figuring out the prime line to run around Vegas to get the best of the car. We're kind of getting an alternate view here, getting to see the different, we can hear the car, kind of feel it when we listen where he's laying off the throttle, laying back into the throttle. 50 laps left to go here tonight in Vegas. Zach Lockett at the moment, driving away with the lead. Josh Freed's made his way up to second. Zach Lockett's already off to the tune of a half-second lead over Josh Freed. Starting to grow that gap quickly. As the laps are going to start working against him. Wow, the 48 starting to fall off a little bit here as Matt Bain starting to make a move on John McNeil for the position. Matt Bain's showing some strength late in the race here. Trying to redeem himself for the internet gremlins last week at Daytona. Whoops, someone's dropped way off the pace. That was the 77 of Nathan Brzezowski, who's already laps down here today. It just looked very unorthodox seeing that car drop from all the way to the top to all the way to the bottom of the track. Wow, a full second lead now for Zach Lockett over John McNeil, who's now made his way up to second. 1.2 seconds is the advantage. Zach Lockett building a big nest here at the front of the field. Well, John McNeil got by the traffic there, and he's still got about a full second gap to catch up to Zach Lockett, who is cruising out front here in the latter half of the race. Well, the gap staying pretty stagnant at the moment. Zach Lockett 1.17 second lead over John McNeil. McNeil's starting to open up a gap to third place by about 0.6 seconds. So the top three is almost about to be separated by 3 seconds from first to third, which will be the biggest gap we've seen at the front of the field all night long. Pretty much for the first half, we've seen drivers side by side duking it out for the win here tonight. But maybe the strategy calls have kind of worked in the favor of Zach Lockett here, as it seems he's got the faster car by the end of the race run. Jesse Whittington still working on it here, though. He's up to fourth, and he might be able to pick off the 39 there for third. You know, the gap's actually kind of starting to stabilize. What was once 3 seconds separating the top three, it's about 3 seconds separating the top 7. 3 wide for that position. However, the only problem is, even though it's 3 seconds, they're all fighting for second place, because Zach Lockett still has a sizable advantage over John McNeil, 1.5 second lead. Well, give third place to Jesse Whittington as he picked them off one by one. Now with his target set firmly on the second place driver of John McNeil. We've seen these two duke it out earlier in the race. Like I was figuring, I think John McNeil's got a good short run setup. I feel like Jesse Whittington might have more of a long run setup. So the fact of the matter is we're staying green here. The longer the run goes, the more likely Jesse Whittington's going to start to close the gaps in front of him. Zach Lockett is driving for Adrenaline Racing. Doing the team proud. Wow, the 48, John McNeil's having to pit with 35 laps to go. So I'm wondering if no one's going to be able to make to the finish. If John McNeil had to pit, that's a very good indicator that we're not seeing the last of the pit stops yet. Well, this is the best position that Jesse Whittington has been in a while here tonight, after dropping all the way back outside the top 10 for a pit stop that was opposite of what some of the leaders decided to do. He has slowly worked his way back up to a good run here tonight, sitting in second. Credit to these guys too, running third and fourth. Josh Freed, I don't remember if he ran last week at Daytona or not. I could be mistaken, but I don't think he did. And Garrett Walden up 18 spots here tonight. He from 21st to 18, or 21st up 18 into the top 3. That is impressive. Billy Titoff, he keeps hanging around in the background too. He's made up 16 spots into 7th. He's been involved in half the wrecks here tonight, and yet he's still fighting the fight, putting on a good race and climbing into the top 10, fighting for potentially even a top 5. Down to 30 to go now. Whittington is not really closing that gap down to the leader, Zach Lockett. Lockett looks like he is on a Sunday cruise up front here. He's almost expanded that lead to 2 seconds. It's at 1.85 at the moment. Let us do one more side-by-side shot here tonight featuring Jesse Whittington.
yellow flag is out.
Oh, my mic was muted the whole time. Didn't realize that. I was rambling on with the race storyline and didn't realize my mic was muted. So with the wave round here, it should put us at about 19 cars back on the lead lap, which could be an interesting fight to the finish here. You know, even 19th place is going to be fighting for 15, top 15 or so. 15th will be fighting for a top 10, so on and so forth. But how about Matt Parasini after the troubles he's had here today to get the strategy call there on that last pit stop? I believe it was a quick gas and go for the 2014 to put him out front in the lead ahead of Zach Lockett and Jesse Whittington with a restart pending, 15 to go.
Green, green, green.
Well, we're back and rolling here. Jesse Whittington gets back out. Sorry, I was sleeping at the restart there, folks. Unfortunately for Matt Parasini, kind of going as expected to take that gas and go move. From first to 10th in the matter of 2 laps there. Not looking like it's going to pay off to make him up much spots. Whoa, 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 we are getting loose at the front of the field. No, no, no.
Caution, yellow flag.
No, Jesse Whittington had the lead and lost it there from the lead. And it looks like he kind of lost it on his own there. I don't think the 93 of Zach Lockett really made a mistake. Didn't look like there was any harsh contact. The 94 just kind of got loose. These next-gen cars, they do tend to get loose and out of control once in a while. And unfortunately, from the lead, this one takes Jesse Whittington kind of out of the mix for now. Garrett Walden gets into it. He had nowhere to go. He was just trying to avoid the spinning 94 of Jesse Whittington. You see he's running 4th here. Ahead of him, the 94 is spinning out. 43 had an option here to go high or low. And there wasn't much opening for going low. He actually hits the 94 head on. T-Bone hit the 94 there and was stuck with him along for the ride. And we're back to live here. The 94 car is not happy. He's just trying to woe it down to get into pit road. You can see the left rear is hammered. The upper toe link broken very visibly on the 94. It is crab walking. So now we got a new leader at the front. We haven't seen Charles Stevens Jr. leading the way like this yet. And in case it comes down to it, limited attempts at a green-white checkered here tonight in the SCSRA series. It's the standard. They won't go infinite. Only 3 attempts at a green-white checkered if it has to come down to that. Wow, Josh Hall out of nowhere has found his way into the 3rd position. You know, the top 3 right now are not your common suspects that have been up front all night tonight. So someone could shock the field here, not having led very many laps. Most laps tonight have been led by Zach Lockett, Jesse Whittington, and at one point Matt Bands and John McNeil. That was it. John McNeil was the one that was dominantly holding the top position for a long time here tonight. But Charles Stevens, this is the first time he's been up front leading here. Josh Hall, he's been kind of mired at the back all night. Josh Freed has kind of kept it top 5. Vince Brent, top 5. And then Billy Titoff, who's been involved in multiple wrecks, still looking for a top 10, possibly even a top 5 finish by the way things are going. The lights are out on the pace car. We're going to get back rolling.
Green flag, green flag.
84 gets a good jump there. Side by side for second. That's going to be Josh Hall with a good push from the 92 of Vince Brent. Charles Stevens Jr., he's going to have to defend now with the drivers behind him raring and ready to take the top spot. Zach Lockett has held the lead for a good segment of the night, and he wants to get it back. He's going to go high. The 84 is going to stay low. '84 kind of cuts it down the middle there, trying to hold both lines. The 93 wasn't going to take it. He drops the low side, fights to the front, takes the lead away from the 84 here. 84 is going to fight back on the outside. We're losing.
The yellow flag is out.
Yellow flag, yet another caution here tonight. So it looks like getting at the end of the race here, my internet wanting to try and drop out on me. Let us see what this caution is all about. Right at the moment when the internet kind of blipped out on me. He blips out, gets loose right in front of the 43. And that's all we had. The tail end of the wreck there. Single spinner, it looks like. Well, we should have at least an attempt to end this race under regulation as it sits right now. Zach Lockett, Charles Stevens Jr., Vince Brent, and Josh Hall, your top four. And you got Josh Freed in fifth, Matthew Fritz running sixth, Billy Titoff running in seventh, Joshua King running in eighth, Jorge Ledesma Jr. ninth, and Sharn Hill, your top 10. And it's getting a little bit choppy. Have not lost complete and total connection yet. Hey, my internet survived for 146 laps tonight. That is by far the best it's been in the last month. Had another race with ARCA last night, part of the ITZR series. It was on a short track, a 100 lap event, but it went flawless last night. So knock on wood, keeping it rolling here. Just got to make it 4 more laps or whatever amount of restarts they might have to go through. So it looks like Jesse Whittington burned one of his fast repairs. He's back out there running in 15th. Man, it might be a long shot, but if he's got the fresh tires from having to come down pit road anyways, might keep an eye out on him to see whether or not he can make anything happen. Lights are off on the pace car. We're going to get a natural green, white, checkered attempt at the end here under regulation. Who will it be? You got Zach Lockett, Charles Stevens Jr., Vince Brent, Josh Hall, and Josh Freed, your top 5. Josh Hall has gained 15 spots here tonight. Billy Titoff has gained 16. John McNeil, unfortunately, has lost 16 spots after that spin out that brought this caution. We're going to have only 2 laps to make up any spots that he has lost from 5th place. And that ain't much time at all to make the moves. Pace car is going to pull off for the restart here with 2 laps to go. Someone's going to come out on top here tonight. And this might be the most action-packed restart of the evening. And we got it. Boy,
Green flag, green flag.
To get choppy on me. Zach Lockett with a great jump from the start there. Vince Brent. The rest of the drivers, they're going to see the white flag or they're going to see the yellow, depending on what happens through turns 3 and 4. Charles Stevens gets back around Vince Brent. Brent dropping backwards. Josh Freed making a move. White flag waves. Caution maybe not going to end this race. We saw the smoke spinning out in the background there. They get to race to the finish. Zach Lockett, he's got the advantage. Charles Stevens Jr. up to second. Josh Freed with third. Vince Brent's on the low side. Is he going to be able to close the gap and settle it for third? No, he did not. 39 of Josh Freed was able to bring it home third. I don't know what the ticker and everything's doing here, but it should be Zach Lockett, your winner here today. Not Jesse Whittington. That's ticker's all goofed up right now. Well, he's gonna burn it down. He's gonna celebrate the win here tonight. Zach Lockett. Racing for Adrenaline Racing, the team. His teammate alongside of him is Nathan Brzezowski. Zach Lockett brings it home for the team. He gets to celebrate the victory here tonight in Las Vegas. I don't know why the internet's giving me so much trouble here at the end. At least it never cut out completely, so. Seems like the race thought that it went into overtime. I do think there was a wreck coming to the white flag, but the white flag was waving, made the race official at that point, and your winner, none other than Zach Lockett. I don't know if this is going to be accurate is the problem. It's going to say, okay, nope, it is accurate. Okay, so Zach